The allegations of involvement of the fake Bhutanese refugee scam, followed by arrest of top leaders, has been one of the very few instances where political heavyweights have been brought to jurisdiction. Since the arrest of former Home Minister Balakrishna Kant, leaders of mainstream parties have intensified discussions, raising quite a few eyebrows. In response, the leaders have clarified that the meetings did not concern the ongoing refugee debacle. Good morning, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Top leaders of mainstream political parties intensified deliberations as the involvement of political heavyweights in the fake Bhutanese refugee scam continued to surface. Central Committee meeting of CPN-UMO called to discuss on contemporary national and party issues. Meeting of office bearers of Nepali Congress also scheduled for today. Violence and protests escalate in Pakistan following the arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. At least 8 deaths reported, while over 1,000 have been arrested. And Inter Milan takes a lead in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final, defeats AC Milan 2-0. The revelations from a fake Bhutanese refugee scam has created ripples in the national politics as arrests and involvement of top leaders has surfaced one after another. As a result, leaders of CPN Maoist Centre, Nepali Congress and CPN-UMO have held several rounds of discussions since the past few days, which is to continue today as well. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal and Nepali Congress President Sher Bahadur Dewa held a meeting earlier this morning. This comes after the alleged involvement of Dewa's wife Arju Rana came to the fore. Former Prime Minister Dewa had reached the official residence of Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal this morning. CPN-UMO Vice Chair Subhash Chandra Nemwang had also reached Balwatar to meet with the Prime Minister. Meanwhile, suspended UMO leader Tob Bahadur Rai Maji is still absconding. The police have taken former Home Minister Balakrishna Kant in custody for investigation. The Kathmandu District Court has allowed Nepal police to keep Kant in custody for 4 days. He has been kept at the police station in the capital's Darbar Marg. CPN-UMO and Nepali Congress have both called for their respective party meetings for today. Meeting of the office bearers of Nepali Congress has been called for today following the arrest of their leader, former Home Minister Balakrishna Kant. Kant's arrest has piled pressure on the party to take action against him. In the latest development, Kant's wife Manju and NC President Dewa's wife Arju Rana have also been alleged of involvement in the fake refugee scam. In an audio that has come to surface, both of them have been alleged of receiving money raised from the scam. Meanwhile, CPN-UMO has called for its Central Committee meeting after 9 months today. The meeting is expected to dwell on absconding leader Tob Bahadur Rai Maji among 10 other agendas. Party Chair KP Sharma Oli is to present a political report at today's Central Committee meeting. CPN-UMO is also expected to review its performance at the provincial and parliamentary elections, along with its 2-month-long grassroots campaign. The Central Committee meeting will conclude on the 13th of May. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
The question is, what do you term the effort to apply pressure on the President for certification of the citizenship bill endorsed by the previous term of the House of Representatives? Your options are A, move to serve interests, B, ploy to dispute the bill, and C, normal procedure. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. Victim of the Second People's Movement, Mukesh Kayastha, who had been living with paralysis, has passed away. Kayastha, who had been receiving treatment in Shir Memorial Hospital in Banipa, breathed his last yesterday evening. He was 32 years old. Kayastha had been injured by a gunshot on 9th of April 2006 during the Second People's Movement when he was 14 years old. He was often referred to as a living martyr of the movement. The government had been bearing his treatment costs along with a monthly allowance of 15,000 rupees and had stationed a nurse for his care. Finance Minister Prakash Charan Mahat has said that budget would not be sprinkled across sectors because of limited resources. Responding to questions raised on the principles and priorities of the budget at the lower house, Finance Minister Mahat said that there was no alternative to finding solutions to allocating budgets to projects without sources, as doing so added challenges to ensuring capital expenditure. saying that there were projects exceeding 400 billion rupees without secured sources. Under the Ministry of Physical Infrastructures alone, Minister Mahat added that such projects would be classified on the basis of priority. Minister Mahat said that the economy was not in a downward spiral and added that the growth rate had in fact slowed down. He also said that there was no alternative to enhancing spending capacity from the very first day of the upcoming fiscal year. Members of the lower house had suggested the government to ensure 20% budget allocation in the agriculture sector, increase production and create employment opportunities. Despite the assurance of prioritizing industrialization and increasing agricultural production, the lawmakers had their doubts on meeting the targets because of the distributive nature of the priorities and principles. Former Finance Minister Janardhan Sharma said that reducing the budget by citing economic crisis would have further negative impact on the economy. Saying that they had assured the public of access to roads, drinking water and education, the lawmakers also suggested the government to prioritize local development. In our Public Voice segment, we've asked people in several provinces why has the issue of landless squatters remained the same despite the lapse of many years since the formation of the National Land Commission. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice.
देशको राजनीतिक राम्रो भयो भने अनि सबैको राम्रो हुन्छ र सुकुम्बासीहरुको पनि राम्रो हुन्छ.
नेताहरू एउटै कुरामा आउँछन् गर्दिन्छु भन्छन् सुकुम्बासीहरु जस्तोको त्यसै हुन्छन्.
राजनीतिक रूपमा अब हेरिने हुनाले अलिकति सुकुम्बासी समस्या चाहिँ समाधान नभएको जस्तो लाग्छ.
यही भित्तामा दिए भने एउटा टहर बनाएर बस्न दिए त हुन्थ्यो. हामीलाई के एउटा व्यवस्था गरेर राखिदिनु पर्यो हैन भने हामीले यस्तो बालबच्चा बोकेर हामीले कसरी कमाउने कसरी खाने
खै सरकारले हेर्नुपर्ने हो.
बास पाइन्छ कि भनेर आएर बस्न आएको यतातिर पनि डोजर लगाइदिने उठाइदिने भन्नुहुन्छ.
वास्तविक सुकुम्बासीको हो भन्ने परिचय नै हुन नसकेर हो.
भोट चाहिँदाखेरि हामीलाई प्रयोग गर्ने भोट सिद्धिएपछि उहाँहरूले जितेर सिट पाएपछि हामीलाई नचिन्ने.
दोष राज्यको हामीले कुनै दोषी हैन.
हामीले लाल पूर्जा दिन्छौँ भनेर हजुर भन्दै उहाँहरू सबै आउनुहुन्छ. जितेर गएपछि कुन दल पनि कोही फर्केर यहाँ आउँदैन.
सरकारले सुकुम्बासी जस्तो भइसक्यो.
सुकुम्बासीलाई भोट ब्याङ्क मात्रै बनाउँछ.
भयो भन्ने बेला ढली जान्छ अर्को आउँछ. अब दोष कहिकन बनाऊ. आज
सुकुम्बासी आयोगलाई काम गर्ने खालको सक्रिय नि बनाइदैन. त्यहाँ राजनीति रङ्गभेद हुन्छ.
सुकुम्बासीको लाल पूर्जा वितरण पाउनको लागि त सुकुम्बासीको नेता पुग्नु पर्यो के त्यहाँ.
आज होलो नै भोल होलो नै यसै जिन्दगी जान लाग्यो. अब
आयोग बन्यो भनेर आउने आफ्नो भुँडी भर्ने पुणा जाने.
राजनीतिक दलको कारणले गर्दा हामीलाई चाहिँ टार्दै गइराखेको छ.
Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has said the response to deadly unrest in the wake of the arrest of former Prime Minister Imran Khan would be iron-handed, warning protesters against any further attacks on state installations. At least 8 people have died and around 1,000 arrested in violence that has aggravated instability in the South Asian nation of 220 million people as it grapples with a severe economic crisis and a delay to an International Monetary Fund bailout since November. Khan, Pakistan's most popular political leader according to polls, was arrested in a land fraud case this week on Tuesday, prompting supporters to storm military buildings and ransack the residence of a top army general in the eastern city of Lahore. Other state buildings and assets have been attacked and set ablaze by protesters, and the government said yesterday it had approved requests from 2 of Pakistan's 4 provinces, Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, both Khan strongholds, and the federal capital Islamabad to deploy troops to restore order. Khan's arrest dramatically escalated tensions between Khan and the military at a time of economic crisis. Conviction would disqualify the former star cricketer, Prime Minister from 2018 to 2022 from standing for office, possibly for life. Elections are due later this year. A late-night bombing of a building in the southern Gaza area of Khan Yunis killed the head of Islamic Jihad's rocket-launching force, identified as Ali Ghali, and 2 other militants, the Israeli military and Islamic Jihad, in the early morning hours. Israel hit Islamic Jihad targets in Gaza for a second day, and Palestinian militants launched hundreds of rockets across the border, setting off sirens as far away as Tel Aviv, while Egypt began efforts to mediate an end to the fighting. The second round of cross-border fire in a week came after Israel launched strikes on Tuesday against 3 Islamic Jihad commanders it said had planned attacks against Israelis following months of escalating violence. The Israeli military said it hit more than 130 targets, including rocket launching sites, as blasts sounded across the Palestinian enclave. Minutes after Wednesday's airstrikes began, sirens sounded in Israel, mostly among border communities, but soon also in and around the commercial capital, Tel Aviv, which is 60 kilometers north of Gaza. More than 400 rockets were fired, Netanyahu said, a quarter of which fell short in Gaza. The Joint Command of Gaza's militant groups, which includes Islamic Jihad and the enclave's Hamas rulers, claimed responsibility for the salvos. However, Israeli military officials said they had seen no signs that Hamas, which is believed to have hundreds of rockets in its arsenals, had fired any missiles itself. In total, 24 Palestinians, including at least 5 women and 5 children, as well as 3 senior Islamic Jihad commanders and 4 gunmen have been killed since fighting began, Palestinian health officials have said. Welcome back. It's time now for the sports update.
Sports news.
Inter Milan scored 2 early goals to secure an impressive 2-0 win over AC Milan in their Champions League semi-final first leg and stay on course to become the first Italian team to win the trophy since they did so in 2010. Inter struck after 8 minutes and 11 minutes with Edin Dzeko smashing in a close-range volley before Henrik Mkhitaryan doubled the lead from Federico Di Marco's cross to stun their city rivals at San Siro. It was the first time Inter have beaten their neighbours in a European knockout tie, with Milan progressing from both previous meetings, most recently the 2004-05 Champions League quarter-finals. Inter host Milan in the second leg at the same venue on Tuesday, and the winners will face Real Madrid or Manchester City in the final. Jawlakhel Youth Club are up against Friends Club today at the Martyrs Memorial 8 Division League. The match has been scheduled for 3 p.m. kickoff in Chassel Ground. Jawlakhel is looking to return back to the top of the league table with a win today, as they are placed in the second position at the moment with 27 points from 16 matches. Currently, Church Boys are leading the points table. Jawlakhel had defeated Himalayan Sherpa 1-0 in its earlier match. A loss, however, will strengthen Church Boys' lead and will also benefit 3-Star. Meanwhile, Friends are looking for a win today to avoid relegation zone. They have 11 points. Up next is the weather update. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.